For the first time, an active male player in a major team sport has announced today that he is gay. Jason Collins played college ball at Stanford and for 12 NBA seasons, most recently with the Washington Wizards. He's now a free agent. He's played in 2 NBA finals and he's been a part of 6 NBA teams. In a story with Sports Illustrated, Collins explains how he dated women. He got engaged once, trying to convince himself. He said he started thinking about coming out during the NBA lockout in 2011 and said the recent Boston Marathon bombing reinforced the notion that things change in an instant and he shouldn't wait. Here's part of what he told Sports Illustrated. I'm a 34-year-old NBA center. I'm black and I'm gay. I didn't set out to be the first openly gay athlete playing in a major American team sport. But since I am, I'm happy to start the conversation. I wish I wasn't the kid in the classroom raising his hand and saying, I'm different. If I had my way, someone else would have already done this. Nobody has, which is why I am raising my hand. Jason Collins to Sports Illustrated in a story that came out today. ESPN.com's Elsie Granderson joins us now. Elsie, what do you make of this news from Jason Collins?
Well, I kind of tweeted as soon as I read his piece in SI that I knew that the twin telepathy thing wasn't real, and that his brother had no idea that he was gay. That was actually my real first response. I knew that wasn't real. Because at this point, where we are in society in 2013, the news of an openly gay athlete, to me anyway, just isn't that shocking. Everyone at this point should be assuming that every league has a multitude of gay athletes. And I'm happy for Jason at this point of his journey, but for me personally, as a gay black man like Jason, it was part of the fabric, but it wasn't overwhelming for me.
And you mentioned his twin brother, Deron Collins, who also followed his brother through college and then into the NBA. And he said he told his aunt first, Jason did, and she said, I knew for years and openly accepted it. And he said his twin, though, was astounded, was really surprised to learn the news, but rallied around him by the end of the day and showed a lot of brotherly love there. I did mention he is a free agent, LZ, and Jason Collins, whether or not he plays in the league next year, how far does that go in saying what he had to say today is accepted and everyone moves on?
Well, that really is the key point. I remember when Rick Welts came out, who was the former president with the Phoenix Suns, and he comes out and then he sort of retires, and then the question of acceptance isn't whether or not how people feel when he's no longer part of the game, but whether or not he's welcomed back. And so when he was hired by the Golden State Warriors, that to me was a significant difference in his story, was that he was still able to perform in the job that he felt that he's been created to do, which is be president of a team, and they're having a great postseason, obviously. So the question with Jason is, will a team re-sign him? That is the story, because then you have an openly gay player in the locker room. Because as of right now, he could very well be just another openly gay player who comes out in retirement. He needs to be re-signed. He's 34. He's a big man, and so a 34-year-old big man usually can find a job somewhere, someone 10th, 11th, or 12th man. He hasn't had a stellar career, but he's had, a long career, and he does have playoff experience that he can pass along. So will a team take a chance with him? I would say they should, given who we see as a 10th, 11th, 12th man on the bench currently. But will this scare people off is something that we'll all have to wait and see.
You say everybody should just assume there are gay players throughout all of the leagues, but we know just assuming that and then accepting it and having it right there in front of your face is a big leap. What might he be in for professionally inside these locker rooms as someone who's personally gone through similar experiences?
Well, when I first started in this business as a sports writer, I tried for years to get a job. And no one would hire me because they didn't want to send an openly gay guy into the locker room. In fact, I can remember a sports editor literally pushing my papers, my clips of my newspapers articles to the side and saying, I'm not sending a gay guy into the locker room. That was back in the 90s. Now there's gay folks everywhere, openly proud, and we're valued for our talent. And so I would like to think that the locker room environment that Jason is coming to is one that's much more evolved, one that's much more understanding, and also remembers the most important aspect of being an athlete isn't what they do when they're not there. It's what they do while they're there. And Jason, if he's re-signed, will be there to provide veteran leadership, some defensive toughness, and, help with team camaraderie. And I think that a team that is strong from ownership to executives to the coach will be able to comfortably integrate Jason and all the wonderful attributes he has to bring to a team without allowing the quote-unquote distraction of his sexual orientation dominating the locker room environment. I don't foresee that happening. I don't think it'll be an issue at all. Jason's a very intelligent person. The league is much more intelligent. It's been working with the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network for years. David Stern has been an advocate for years. That's one of his thumbprints culturally on the league. I don't foresee Jason having that big of a problem with the right team, with the right teammates.
He is very smart, very well educated, very well connected. His roommate at Stanford was Congressman Joe Kennedy. And he actually said seeing Mr. Kennedy walk in the Gay Pride Parade up in Boston, he was very, very envious of seeing that. And that was another moment where he said, it's time for me. How will history look back on this moment today, LZ?
Well, again, a lot of that has to do with whether or not he's resigned. Mm-hmm. I will tell you that I love the fact that he took ownership of his story, and he shared his story, and it wasn't an outing. If it was something scandalous, like photographs with him and some guy or something like that, that's dominating like TMZ or Twitter, then history will look at it with salaciousness. But he did this with grace. The piece that he scripted was beautifully written. I'm actually a little worried about my job. I don't know if he's after my job now because he's a wonderful writer. And the fact that he was empowered in this move means that when history looks back and finally talks about the first openly gay player, it will be from a position of power and not from a position of cowardice, not from a position of salaciousness, but from a position of duty. He shared a piece of himself with us, and I think we're all better for it.
If you had to choose someone to take on this role and this title today, he seems like a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want someone who is self-aware. You want someone who's able to communicate exactly how they're feeling each step of the way so that it could be well documented. And you also want someone, again, who, once the information comes out, does so from a position of power, because now he's in control of the message. He's in control of who he works with. If he chooses to work with someone, he doesn't have to apologize for anything. He doesn't have to spring the news on people because now it's been leaked out. He's in control of his message. And when you're able to be in control of the message, then you're really coming from a position that is not of weakness but of strength. And that, to me, is the most important aspect of this, is that he